All right, no question, winter weather, it affects us, whether it's how we feel, maybe even how we eat sometimes.
Yes, our cars aren't impervious to the cold either. One viewer's already seen that.
From Certified Transmission, here he is. Always appreciate seeing Peter Fink.
Welcome back, Peter.
How are you?
Morning.
You have a good weekend?
Our cars don't like the cold just like we don't, you know. When it's cold outside, we're kind of moving a little slower. Well, our cars are kind of the same way a little bit.
We understand.
It makes me grumpy. You know
That's
what I mean?
it.
It makes me grumpy sometimes.
There you go. I guess, you know, our cars do that.
I know. My car gets grumpy once in a while.
I don't want to go.
Let's get to this first question, because Jerry writes, does the cold weather affect tire pressure? 3 of my 4 tires suddenly went low on my 2014 Dodge Journey last week. What should I fill them to? And is adding air something I should add to my maintenance routine in the winter?
All right, great question. Tire pressure is definitely affected by the cold weather, okay? It's probably one of the #1 things other than the battery, okay? If you have regular air in it, which most tires do, okay, when it gets colder, that air compacts, and so it will be a low tire pressure. It could make that sensor on your dash come on, okay, and stuff. So you definitely do want to check it. Of course, we're all in a bad habit of not doing our proper maintenance once a month. We're supposed to check our tire pressures. Very few of us actually do that.
Once a month?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, okay. Of course, now with the tire sensor, that really does help, okay. Yeah. So I guess, are you or aren't you? Because that's what you're relying on.
I've got a sensor. Are those reliable?
Yes, they are for the most part. Of course, a lot of times one will go bad and then people ignore them, okay, or whatever and stuff, and it's always on. But myself, I think it is one of the best things out there. Back to the question, okay, when it does get cold, that could come on. Yes, you need to check it. What's the proper air pressure? It's on your door jamb, either on the body itself, on the driver's door, or on the driver door on the door itself.
Like a sticker or whatever.
There'll be a sticker that tells you what to fill it to. As a general rule of thumb, it's probably going to be around 32 pounds, okay? And that just about works on any car, at least for temporary, if you can't find it or something. Once in a blue moon, I've seen them in a glove box, but usually they're always on the driver's door.
And you can see them on the tire. Some tires have them written on the tire.
Well, that only has minimum and maximum, so that's a big range, okay, and stuff, all right? So it won't say what it's supposed to be.
And then just fill it until when you kick it, and then your foot bounces off the side, right?
That's exactly right, yeah.
Well, you know, some people I see kicking at 10 pounds as it bounces off, you know, thinks it's okay. Don't go by looking at it either.
Use a gauge.
Use a gauge, okay, it gets you there, okay, and stuff. But yes, it needs to. Nitrogen, okay, if you fill it with nitrogen, it doesn't affect it as bad. A lot of tire places do have that. It does cost a little extra. I do recommend it. It does not let your tire pressure vary as much. Second, it does help it wear a little bit longer, that you get more mileage, okay, and stuff like this. So there is another alternative. It does cost a few dollars, but it ain't very expensive. And I mean, literally, it's only a few dollars.
It's worth the dollars you're spending.
I think it is. I think it is. We do it in our own company trucks, and I do it on my car, so I think it is. Yep.
So our next question is from Dan, and he writes, the blower fan for the heater in my 1996 Suzuki Sidekick doesn't work in the first 2 speeds, only speeds 3 and 4. Any idea why that would be?
Yes, on blower motors, okay, on most cars they have what they have 2 sets of resistors. They have a high side and a low side, and what I suspect is the low side resistor has gone bad. That's why it doesn't work on 1 and 2, but it does on 3 and 4. Usually on most cars it's the high blower that goes through a special relay because it pulls more power, and usually that's the one that burns out. It's kind of unrare. It's rare that the other side goes bad, okay, but most likely it's a resistor. Check the fuses first, and then you want to trace down the wiring loom on it, and there will be a resistor that's usually underneath the hood, okay, on the firewall, and one of those set of resistors are probably gone bad. Probably going to play a hard time finding some, okay? Since that's an older vehicle, you're probably going to be looking at a salvage yard. I doubt you're not going to call up Napa Auto Parts and see if they have it, or AutoZone or anybody like that. Maybe a dealer. Again, a lot of times when a car's 7, 10 years old, they don't stock those parts, okay? So probably
calling around.
You're probably going to use salvage yard, or you pull it, probably go get it yourself, okay, and stuff, you know.
How about the internet?
Well, that's possible, you know, but see, you know, it surprises me, yes. I mean, the only problem is, what do you search out? You know, you probably put something in and hopefully no porn site comes up or something, you know.
Not.
Man, who knows what will come up on sometimes when you got to do the wild card search, you know. I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
Final
We've
question.
all been there, Peter.
I mean,
we
you know.
refer to it as show research here.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
This last one is from Brian. I just had my timing belt and kit done in my 2004 Mitsubishi Outlander. Now my clutch is slipping bad and is going to need replacing. Is that just a coincidence or could it be related?
Well, the short answer is I'm sure it's not related, okay, and stuff. The good news is you did the timing belt when you were supposed to. Why the clutch started going bad? If you were called up and would have said it's not disengaging, that's probably a hydraulic clutch and there's a slave cylinder under the hood by your brake cylinder and it'd be low on fluid. But that only affects it that it won't release when you push the clutch pedal in. It feels like there's nothing there and you can't stop or whatever. Since this is saying it's slipping, okay, that means the clutch itself is wore out, okay? It's going to need a replacement. There's no adjustment on this thing. It's time to get it to one of my shops. They can do that for you. I hate to say put in a plug like that for us, but
it's
you know,
true.
I mean, once in a while.
And-
but we will double check it at the shop,
Yeah,
okay?
and
for you.
I'm not trusting my car when it comes to that stuff to anybody but your crew.
Well, we appreciate
But
that.
it's
Thank you.
because you take the time. It's about continuing education. It's about hiring experienced professionals.
right.
And you'll find that at all certified transmission locations across the Omaha area. We've joked with Peter in the past. What about brakes? What about they specialize in transmission? So if that's what you're in the need of, go to certifiedtransmission.com. You can make appointments online or find that location nearest you.
Job done right at the right price.
That's what it's about.
That's
And
right.
no tires.
Tires.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Peter.
Peter. Appreciate it.
Great to see you. Your